Hey everyone, welcome to another video on Paragon. In this video I'm going to go through different updates and kind of go through what happened in the recent update in v43.3 and some of the updates that they did to heroes and card changes and what they've opened up now to the sets, right? So now there's not one build that you need to run on carry. There's not one build that you need to run on support or mids or something like that. So the nerfs and buffs that they did in the game, I think, are hands down highly needed. And I think right now we're at a best point I think right now this is the best point in the game. Paragon hasn't been this balanced, in my opinion, in a long time. So needless to say, let's continue. I'll just go through a couple things. The nerf to Aurora that they did, I think that was necessary. She was able to escape too easily, made her a very easy and very easy character to play. The phase buffs that they did with their ulti, increasing mana, and the attack speed buff, along with the link being reduced, really needed. Sparrow got a nice little update with her ulti and her Q being lowered down and cooldown. And Bellica's nerf was highly needed because it was just making too many people play with Bellica and not really, the combo was too easy in my opinion. So you could just get one level stun and just blow up people. The Yin buff with her basic was definitely necessary. Greystone finally fixed his ulti. The Seraph basic armor decrease. Those were all definitely needed nerfs and updates. Now moving on to the cards and what I think that when they've brought phase back, and one of the things I don't see a lot of is Highwayman. I don't see this card really in many games. I might see it in 1 out of 6 games, and I don't really know why, especially on support characters. It's just too good, especially as a ranged support where you can just sit there and gain gold from hitting the enemy. So this helps the support keep up with the farm of not taking farm, but also keep the gold up, and if they need gold, they can also keep up with AD carry and everybody else in the team. So this is really highly recommended on support characters, and even range characters on offlane or mid can even run this to help you obtain gold faster. So Highwayman, and you mix this with Coin Master, and you're just getting gold up the wazoo. It is hands down one of the best combos I found for supports and for just farming gold in general. I highly recommend trying it out. Tell me what you think of it. So moving towards the Sparrow and jumping through the game a little bit here, I'm gonna go through a couple things that a lot of players kind of fall short on. And early game, again, you're not gonna have that additional possibility here where you're gonna be at God mode. No, of course not. You need to farm up. You need to get your items. And the first item I think is highly recommended, especially as a carry. So I'm running Order Death in this. I'm not running Chaos. I have no red cards. And the reason behind that is because, one, I need the Armor Pen, right? The first card I'm going to grab is Armor Pen. And the reason behind that, I'm looking at what the other team's building, and I see that they have a Greystone. I see that Seraph has a reduction in her basic armor, and Greystone's running the Green Springs, which gives them the basic armor increase. So in this case, I know I need that Armor Pen, especially to fight Greystone right now. So starting off with Guard Piercer, getting the Armor Pen will essentially give me the advantage to keep pushing out damage against Greystone and doesn't put me so far behind. Now as I'm going to sit there and focus on farming, I'm going to make sure I get that multi-shot as soon as I have enough vitality, enough agility points in theory. I'm rushing the multi-shot, then I'm putting the rest of the points of vitality, right? So needless to say, this is one of the moments where I'm just sitting there farming and trying to push up the lane because I'm putting lane presence while there's 2 players on left. They showcase themselves in mid already, so we know where they're at, and we know we can only get ganked by 1 or 2 other players, and that's Seraph came and ganked us. We knew this by paying attention and by watching. So my support is keeping them busy. The focusing phase, she's using skills to keep herself alive. I ulti, I'm hitting both of them now. I'm going through the armor because of Guard Piercer, and here I'm coming up and I'm lining up my shot and get my last shot in. Take out Sparrow. Now in this spot I kind of messed up. I should have blocked him more. I got hit by his rock. It was a close one. I almost got him as well, but the difference is here is that Guard Piercer, that Armor Pen, is implying so much extra damage because of how low their damage actually, how low their armor is. It's really useful for especially early game. So skipping ahead a little bit, you see I'm still running that. I just got some extra damage and nothing too unique here, and I'm just going to focus on my farm. Same thing my AD carries do. My support's doing is just sitting here and checking out stuff. We were doing some trolling in the game. So let's jump ahead, and I'm back to farming. Nothing too different here. I'm gonna jump ahead and go ahead and do about 18 minutes or so, and you'll see a fight here that comes up. Well, me dying, but we get ganked and we push out too far and we paid the price for it. Sereth got kind of greedy here, but she ends up with the kill. So let's keep going ahead. Let's jump ahead around 20 minutes here. I want to showcase another card that is quite nice, especially on the AD carry. Running Swamp Stalker in this build at the beginning because I was solo farming for a little bit so my support can go off and help. But the also benefit of Swamp Stalker is that it's a small range. So I think it's about 600 range where I can get the benefit, 600 to 800. And that means me and FaZe can be linked, but we can be separated while she sits there and kites and ulties me. I can still have the benefit of having Swamp Stalker and get an extra 30 damage. So this was one of the best moments here. Again, now the comboing between FaZe's ulti and Sparrow's ulti is immense because I can hit everybody at once and increase my damage from my E. It's so good, and especially I'm armor piercing, I'm Swamp Stalker because I'm not near somebody at the moment, and I'm able to multi-shot, so I'm hitting everything twice on top of that. So the amount of damage that Sparrow's stacking is just double on any other carry at this point because the fact that she can pierce everybody with her ulti. So moving through, we have the advantage here, as you can see. So I'm going to try and jump through and go into a couple more cards that I really wanted to talk about. The first card I want to talk about is Woundseeker as well. Now Woundseeker gives 19 power and 21 attack speed. Normally I would get this earlier into the game depending on what the opponent team is running. If I see that they're not building armor, normally I would grab it first because then I can just ignore whatever basic armor they're running. That gives me the big advantage in the game because now if they're not running any armor, I can go ahead and say, okay, forget Swamp Stalker, I'm grabbing my Woundseeker, and this gives me a bigger advantage because it applies Blight and ignores armor straight out. And Yin made a mistake. She left her ulti and ran away from us, and thinking she was going to get away, she gets killed. One of the biggest benefits of Woundseeker is that it ignores armor and applies Blight. I'm going to keep repeating that. It ignores armor and applies Blight on critically wounded targets. You run your ulti, you run FaZe, and you just plow through people at this point, right? Now, I want to jump over to FaZe now. Now, one of the biggest things with FaZe is that the combination of cards that people were never really using until more recently is Yomi Guardian and Pensive Shaman. These two cards combined make FaZe just an unkillable force, especially if players are not running Blight, right? And the reason behind this is Yomi Guardian applies a nice little shield around everybody, blocking 70 damage for 8 seconds. Basic damage, right? So any normal attacks that are being applied to you, you're blocking 70 damage of that normal attack. That's ridiculous. Like, nothing gets better than that, right? So now Sarah dives me, you have Yin diving me, you have an 80 carry that's going on you. This Yomi Guardian will prevent so much damage being dealt, especially to your teammates. Now the next card I want to go into is the Pensive Shaman that I was stating. The reason behind this card, it regenerates health equal to 20% of the mana restored. So for FaZe, that's beautiful. She ulties, she gets mana back, so she's healing on top of the ulti because she's regenning mana. Well, since she's linked and her skills apply a regen, she gets more health regen as her mana goes up. And you combo this with the next gem, Mana Reactor. Restore 1 mana every 6 damage taken. So now if people are attacking her, she's restoring more mana and regenning on top of the regen that FaZe already gives. This is just crazy. If you don't have Blight now, FaZe is going to out heal your damage hands down and you will be in trouble. So these cards, mixture of the Armor Pen with Woundseeker, with Yomi Guardian, and the sustainable FaZe and FaZe Alt makes these two characters back to being viable, not just, you know, on the low end scale, but on the high end scale. They're back into play, they're back in the game, and I highly recommend trying them out, trying these builds. Remember, my builds these aren't perfect builds. There's always updates, there's always fix. But this is what I highly recommend looking at and what you can try out and what you might like. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy the builds, if you try them out, please leave a comment below. And like always, take it easy.